Have you ever felt that heavy knot in your chest when you see someone else succeed? When you watch them smile with what you wish you had, and you ask yourself, why not me? Jealousy creeps in quietly. It whispers in the shadows of your mind, telling you that you are less, that you are behind, that you are not enough. It hurts, doesn't it? That sting of comparison, that inner voice convincing you that life is unfair. But what if I told you that in the very moment jealousy rises, you hold in your hands the greatest chance to transform your life? What if jealousy is not your enemy, but a signal that your soul is asking you to rise higher? The truth is, jealousy is not proof that you are weak. It is proof that you desire more. It is proof that you care deeply. It is proof that your heart still beats with hunger for growth. The pain you feel when you look at someone else's blessing is not a curse. It is a mirror showing you what you secretly crave. And this is where your power begins. Because in 3 minutes, you can shift that energy. You can turn jealousy into fuel. You can take the very emotion that once held you down and use it as the fire that pushes you forward. But first, you must pause. You must admit it to yourself without shame. Everyone feels jealousy. The strongest, the richest, the most successful people you admire, they feel it too. The difference is not that they never feel it. The difference is that they refuse to stay stuck in it. They notice it, they learn from it, and they act on it. Jealousy, left unchecked, poisons you. It drains your joy, clouds your vision, and steals your focus. But jealousy, when transformed, can become the clearest compass you will ever hold. It tells you exactly what matters most to you. It points to the areas of your life where you long to grow, to expand, to shine. This is why you must not run from it. Do not bury it. Do not pretend it isn't there. Instead, face it head on. Say to yourself, I feel jealous, and this feeling is guiding me toward my next level. That one shift changes everything. Suddenly, instead of sinking into self-doubt, you rise into clarity. Instead of resenting someone else's success, you use it as evidence that it is possible for you too. What you see in them is a reflection of what is already alive in you. That is why it stings. It is a reminder of what is waiting inside your own potential. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear in the next few minutes will not just calm the sting of jealousy, it will give you a way to harness it. By the end of this video, you will no longer look at jealousy as a burden. You will look at it as your secret weapon. And when you do, you will no longer waste energy comparing yourself to others. You will use every ounce of that energy to create, to grow, and to live with unstoppable courage. This is the moment you stop letting jealousy steal from you. This is the moment you begin to turn it into power. Jealousy rises because deep down you believe someone else has taken what should have been yours. You see their smile, their progress, their victories, and you feel as though the universe passed you by. That belief is what keeps you trapped. But here's the truth that can set you free. No one can take what is meant for you. Life is not a race where someone else crossing the finish line earlier means you have lost. Their win does not subtract from your chances. Their blessing does not cancel out yours. The opportunities you long for are still waiting, and the fact that you feel jealousy shows that your heart already knows what you desire most. When you understand this, jealousy transforms from a wound into a window. It shows you not what you lack, but what you are capable of creating. Every time you feel it, pause and ask yourself, what exactly am I jealous of right now? Is it their confidence, their freedom, their love, their success, their discipline? Be honest. That answer is the key, because jealousy is not random. It is precise. It points directly to the part of your life where you are being called to rise. Instead of fighting the feeling, listen to it. It is the compass pointing you to your next chapter. But here's the shift that few people ever make. Instead of resenting the person you envy, choose to see them as evidence that what you want is real. If they can have it, so can you. If they can rise, so can you. Their life is not a reminder of your limits. It is a reminder of what is possible for you. The energy you waste in envy can be recycled into the energy you use to take action. That is the hidden gift of jealousy. It contains within it the spark of your own transformation. You may think, but I've been stuck too long. I don't know where to start. That is exactly why jealousy appeared. It came to wake you up, to stir something inside you that refuses to settle for less. The ache you feel is proof that you are alive, that you still hunger for more, that your story is not finished. Do not see it as weakness. See it as the stirring of your untapped strength. Every time you feel jealous, it is like life knocking on your door saying, wake up, you were made for this too. And here is the power you gain when you embrace this truth. The moment you stop fighting jealousy and start using it, you move from victim to creator. You take back your focus, you take back your time, you stop scrolling through other people's lives in pain and start building your own with intention. You stop seeing yourself as less and start acting like someone who is on the way to more. This one mental shift changes everything because suddenly jealousy no longer drains you, it drives you. That is why you must stay with this message. Because the feeling that once made you feel small is about to become the force that makes you unstoppable. You are about to learn how to flip that emotion in the very moment it strikes so you never again let comparison rob you of your peace. This is your chance to turn jealousy into your power source, your personal signal, your proof that you are closer to breakthrough than you ever imagined. The reason jealousy hurts so deeply is because it shines a light on the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That gap feels like emptiness, like proof that you are falling behind. But what if that gap is not punishment at all? What if it is an invitation to step into a higher version of yourself, to build the qualities you admire in others, to create a life that mirrors the vision you carry inside? Jealousy only exists because you can already imagine more for yourself. If you had no vision, you would feel nothing. The fact that you feel jealous is not a weakness. It is proof that your imagination is alive and your soul refuses to settle. Every emotion carries energy, and jealousy carries one of the strongest. Left unchallenged, that energy turns toxic. It eats away at your confidence and blinds you to your own progress. But when you redirect it, when you take that same raw energy and channel it into discipline, focus, and action, it becomes unstoppable momentum. Think about it. The same emotional fire that once burned you with bitterness can be the very fire that fuels your growth. You already have the power. You simply need to turn it inward instead of outward. And here's the truth most people never accept. Jealousy is not about them, it is about you. It is never really about the person you envy. They are only a mirror, reflecting back to you the parts of your own life you want to change. This is why resentment is wasted energy. You are not angry at them, you are hungry for more of yourself. When you see their success, you are seeing a reflection of the greatness that still lies within you, waiting to be awakened. That realization alone can free you. Because the moment you stop fixating on what others have and start asking what it reveals about what you want, you gain control. You step back into the driver's seat of your own destiny. The jealousy no longer drags you down, it points you forward. And forward is where your courage must go. Instead of shrinking, you rise. Instead of comparing, you create. Instead of drowning in bitterness, you breathe into possibility. Imagine this shift happening in your daily life. Instead of wasting hours scrolling and feeling heavy inside, you catch the feeling, you pause, and you ask, what is this emotion telling me I truly want? And then, instead of sinking into shame, you use it as a signal to take even one small step toward that vision. That single step transforms the energy. What was once pain becomes power. What was once jealousy becomes drive. And here lies your breakthrough. You no longer run from the feeling, you master it. You no longer allow it to poison you, you let it guide you. You turn comparison into clarity. You turn envy into evidence. You turn insecurity into inspiration. This is how jealousy stops being the thief of your joy and starts becoming the fuel for your rise. Every time you feel it, you are given a choice to sink into despair or to rise into your own destiny. And now, with this awareness, you can choose to rise every single time. The moment you realize that jealousy is a mirror, you gain the freedom to rewrite the way you respond to it. Instead of being chained by resentment, you become empowered by awareness. This is the turning point where jealousy stops being an enemy and starts becoming a teacher. It teaches you what you value most, it shows you the qualities you admire, and it reminds you of the untapped potential waiting inside. The feeling itself is not the problem, the way you interpret it is. Change the meaning, and you change everything. When you see someone achieving what you desire, your old instinct may be to shrink, to feel smaller, to doubt yourself. But imagine for a moment if your instinct shifted to curiosity instead. Imagine if, instead of asking, why them and not me, you began asking, what does this show me about what I truly want? What can I learn from this? That shift alone dissolves the bitterness and replaces it with focus. The very people you once envied become silent mentors, showing you through their example what is possible. They stop being a threat and start becoming proof that the life you crave can be built. This is how you take back your power. You refuse to let jealousy drag you into self-pity, and instead let it light a fire under you. That fire, if fed with action, becomes unstoppable momentum. But you must guard yourself against the temptation to sit in comparison. Comparison is the trap. It tells you that because someone else has achieved something, you are behind. But there is no behind. There's only your path, your timing, your pace. Every person you envy had their own journey, their own struggles, their own battles you may never see. What looks effortless from the outside often required years of invisible sacrifice. When you remind yourself of this, you free yourself from the illusion that you are less. And here's the truth that will lift you. You are not lacking. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. The very thing you admire in others is already alive in you, waiting for expression. That is why it moves you so strongly. You cannot feel jealous of something that has no connection to your inner self. If you notice it, it means it belongs to your story too. That recognition should fill you with hope, not despair. It means your soul is pointing you toward your own greatness. So the next time jealousy arises, pause, breathe. Let it reveal the desire beneath the sting. Then turn that desire into a step, no matter how small. Because action is what transforms emotion. Without action, jealousy festers. With action, jealousy transforms into drive. One step builds another, and soon the energy that once pulled you down becomes the very force that lifts you higher. This is how you rise above the weight of comparison. This is how you reclaim your peace and redirect your focus. And every time you make this shift, you grow stronger. You learn that no emotion has the power to control you unless you allow it. Jealousy can only weaken you if you surrender to it. But if you rise, if you stand tall and use it, it becomes a source of unstoppable energy. This is the path from envy to empowerment, and it is available to you right now. When jealousy rises, your first instinct may be to fight it, to deny it, to pretend you are above it. But suppression only strengthens it. The harder you push it down, the more it leaks into your thoughts, your mood, your actions. The real power lies not in resisting jealousy, but in embracing it with honesty. Saying to yourself, yes, I feel this. Yes, it hurts. And yes, it is showing me something important. That level of self-awareness frees you. It cuts the chains of shame. It reminds you that feeling jealousy does not make you broken, it makes you human. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise is not whether they feel it, but what they do with it. Every emotion has a message, and jealousy's message is clear. Here is a part of you that longs to grow. If you run from that message, you miss the opportunity. If you listen to it, you unlock direction. That is why jealousy can be one of the most powerful tools for transformation. It is a spotlight pointing straight at your hidden desires. The person you envy is not your competition. They are your reflection. They are holding up a mirror to your own untapped potential. And once you see this truth, the energy shifts. The heaviness turns into hunger, and that hunger becomes fuel. But the fuel only works if you act on it. Action is what separates dreamers from doers, and jealousy is wasted unless it drives you forward. Every moment you spend dwelling on what others have is a moment stolen from building your own. You cannot control their journey, but you can control how you respond to the fire inside you. That is where your freedom lies. When you redirect the energy into your own path, you step out of comparison and into creation. Creation is the antidote to jealousy. The moment you put your hands to work, the envy begins to fade. Because you are no longer an observer of someone else's life, you are the author of your own. Progress, even the smallest step, dissolves comparison. It gives your mind proof that you are moving, that you are capable, that you are building. The faster you act on the signal jealousy gives you, the faster you transform it into motivation. Think of jealousy as a spark. Left unattended, it can burn you down from the inside. But when you catch it and feed it into action, it becomes the spark that lights your fire. The key is speed. The faster you turn the feeling into motion, the less chance it has to poison you. That is why even a tiny step matters. Even a decision as small as writing down your goal, reaching out to someone you admire, or practicing one habit that brings you closer to your vision. Action rewrites the story in your mind. It tells your brain, I am not falling behind, I am moving forward. And that truth dissolves the sting. So the next time jealousy appears, do not waste it. Do not drown in it. Do not let it whisper lies of inadequacy. Catch it, honor it, and then move. Because every time you take action in the presence of jealousy, you turn pain into power. You train your mind to stop seeing others as reminders of what you lack and start seeing them as reminders of what you are capable of creating. This is how jealousy loses its grip and how you begin to rise stronger, clearer, and more unstoppable than ever before. The power of jealousy is that it reveals where your deepest desires live, but the danger is that it tricks you into believing those desires are impossible. The mind begins to whisper, "They have something you never will. They are ahead. You are behind." And if you allow that voice to grow, it convinces you that your dreams are out of reach. That voice is the lie. Because the truth is this: if you can feel jealousy, you already have the seed of what you want within you. The feeling is proof that it belongs to your path. Otherwise, you would not even notice it. You would walk past it without a second thought. Jealousy shows up only when your soul recognizes something familiar, something aligned, something meant for you. Once you see it this way, the chains begin to break. You are no longer trapped in the illusion that someone else's success has stolen your chance. You realize that their success is only evidence that the dream is real. It exists. It is possible. And if it is possible for them, it is possible for you. This single realization shifts jealousy from poison to possibility. It is no longer a reason to shrink, but a reason to rise. But rising requires courage. It requires you to stop waiting, stop watching, and stop telling yourself you need more time before you begin. Jealousy will keep returning until you act, because it is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to wake you. It is the alarm clock of your potential. And just like an alarm clock, it will keep ringing until you decide to get up and move. The longer you ignore it, the more restless you feel. The sooner you answer it, the more alive you become. The truth is, you already have more power than you give yourself credit for. You already have more strength than you realize. The very fact that jealousy affects you so deeply means your heart is still fighting, still reaching, still refusing to settle. That is a gift. It means you are not done. It means there is more in you. And every time you feel jealousy, you can use it as proof that you are still in the game, that you still have something extraordinary to create. Imagine what happens when you stop drowning in comparisons and start building your own path. Imagine the peace of waking up without that heaviness in your chest, because instead of fixating on others, you are focused on your own growth. Imagine how unstoppable you become when every time jealousy knocks, you turn it into action. Instead of being drained by what you see in others, you are fueled by it. You are driven, sharpened, and pushed forward. That transformation is available to you, not tomorrow, not someday, but the moment you decide that jealousy is no longer your enemy. Every emotion is energy, every thought is a choice, and jealousy, when transformed, becomes the rawest, most powerful drive to build the life you crave. This is your chance to stop letting it control you and start letting it guide you. You don't have to fight it, you don't have to fear it, you only have to use it. And once you do, you will discover that jealousy was never a sign of weakness. It was always a signal of strength waiting to rise. The shift begins the moment you choose to see jealousy not as a verdict, but as a voice. It is not saying you are less. It is not saying you are behind. It is saying, here lies the direction of your desire. Here lies the life you long for. Most people never pause long enough to hear that voice clearly. They drown it out with distraction, with bitterness, with endless comparison. But if you are willing to stop and listen, jealousy reveals clarity. It points like a compass to what matters most. And clarity is power, because once you know what you truly want, you can begin to shape your life around it. This is why jealousy can be a turning point. It strips away the noise and shows you what you value more than anything else. It tells you that deep down you don't crave everything, you crave something specific. And that specificity is a gift. It allows you to focus. It allows you to direct your energy toward what will truly fulfill you, instead of scattering your efforts in 100 directions. Without that clarity, you drift. With it, you move with precision. But here lies the danger. Clarity without courage changes nothing. Knowing what you want, but refusing to move toward it only deepens the pain. That is why jealousy stings so hard. It is not just the sight of someone else's life that hurts. It is the reminder that you have not yet acted on your own. The ache is not about them, it is about you holding yourself back. The instant you step forward, even in the smallest way, that ache begins to heal. You no longer feel like a spectator, you feel like a participant in your own destiny. And that shift dissolves the poison. Courage is not about erasing fear, it is about moving anyway. It is about saying, this feeling is uncomfortable, but I will not waste it. I will not let it rot inside me. I will use it. Courage is the bridge between jealousy and transformation. Without courage, jealousy is a cage. With courage, jealousy becomes a key. The lock opens, and suddenly the walls you thought surrounded you fall away. You realize the door was never locked. It was always waiting for you to push. Every person you admire, every success you envy, was built not because they were chosen, but because they acted. They felt doubt, they felt fear, and yes, they felt jealousy too. The only difference is that they decided not to waste it. They turned the fire inward, they let it drive them instead of drain them. And you can do the same. You are no different. You are not disqualified. You are not excluded. The same force that lifted them is alive in you right now, waiting to be claimed. So the next time jealousy rises, stand tall. Let it remind you of what you value. Let it strip away the distractions. Let it call you toward courage. Then act, no matter how small the step. Because the moment you do, you reclaim your power. You prove to yourself that you are not defined by comparison. You are defined by creation. And that is the moment you stop watching others live their lives and start building the life you were meant to live. The weight of jealousy often convinces you that you are behind, that others have raced ahead while you are left standing still. But time does not belong to them. It belongs to you. Your journey is not late, your path is not broken, and your dreams are not expired. The clock that matters is not the one you see when you compare yourself to others. It is the one beating inside your chest. That rhythm, that pulse, that quiet call to rise is your true timing. And as long as you are alive, it is not too late. When jealousy strikes, it is tempting to think life is unfair, that others have been given more opportunity, more luck, more talent. But what if instead of asking, why not me, you ask, what is this showing me about who I can become? That single shift moves you out of victimhood and into vision. You stop staring at what others were given and start asking what you are willing to build. Because the truth is, envy thrives when you believe success is limited, when you believe there is not enough for everyone. But life is not scarcity. Possibility does not run out. Their success does not diminish yours. It expands it. It proves the dream is real, and it reminds you that the same energy that lifted them is available to lift you. This is where your power lies, in realizing that jealousy is never about lack. It is about potential. It is not showing you what you don't have. It is showing you what you are meant to grow into. And growth is always available. Every day is a chance to choose discipline over distraction, courage over comparison, action over excuses. The energy you pour into envy can be poured into building. The fire that once consumed you can be directed into focus. And once you taste even a small victory of your own, the sting of comparison begins to fade, replaced by the pride of progress. Progress is the antidote. You cannot be consumed by jealousy and consumed by creation at the same time. When your energy is in motion, when your heart is invested in building your path, the grip of comparison loosens. You stop obsessing over their story and start writing your own. Each step forward gives you evidence that you are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are moving. And movement is freedom. The truth is, jealousy will always appear from time to time. It is part of being human. But the difference between being chained by it and being fueled by it comes down to choice. Do you let it drain you, or do you let it direct you? Do you sit in its heaviness, or do you stand in its guidance? The feeling itself cannot decide. That is your power. And the more often you choose to rise, the stronger you become. You train your mind to respond with action, and that training transforms your entire life. This is the hidden gift waiting for you, the power to turn jealousy into your signal, your compass, your drive, to no longer fear it, no longer hide it, no longer let it shrink you, instead to use it, to channel it, to rise because of it. And once you master that, you will no longer see others as competition. You will see them as reminders of what is possible, and you will walk boldly into the life you know you are capable of creating. There is a quiet strength that comes when you stop letting jealousy control your perception and start letting it sharpen your vision. Instead of seeing it as proof that you are lacking, you begin to see it as confirmation that something inside you is ready to grow. This changes the way you move through the world. You no longer feel like life is happening to you. You feel like life is calling you. Every moment of envy becomes a signal, every comparison a reminder, every ache a push toward your own expansion. What once weakened you now strengthens you, because you finally understand what the feeling is trying to say. But understanding is only the beginning. Transformation comes from action. You cannot think your way out of jealousy. You must move your way out. The energy must be directed, otherwise it festers. And this is where discipline enters. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the daily act of turning emotional fire into forward motion. It is the choice to put one brick on top of another to build something meaningful instead of staring at what others have built. When you practice discipline, jealousy loses its grip because you no longer measure yourself against someone else's highlight. You measure yourself against your own progress. And progress, no matter how small, always heals. Every step you take rewires your mind. Each time you act in the face of envy, you teach yourself a new truth. I am not powerless. I am not behind. I am moving. That repetition reshapes your identity. You stop identifying as someone who envies and start identifying as someone who creates. And identity is powerful because you always act in alignment with who you believe you are. If you believe you are stuck, you stay stuck. If you believe you are a builder, you build. The moment jealousy pushes you into action, you begin rewriting your own identity into that of a creator, a mover, a force. And here's the shift most people never realize. Jealousy is a form of energy, and energy cannot be destroyed, only redirected. You cannot erase the feeling, but you can reshape it. You can take the sharp edge of envy and carve out something extraordinary with it. The same intensity that once weighed you down can become the very intensity that propels you to heights you never thought possible. All it takes is the decision not to waste it. This is why jealousy, when transformed, becomes one of the most powerful allies you will ever know. It refuses to let you settle. It keeps you restless until you rise. It pushes you to face what you truly want and calls you to act with courage. And when you honor that call, you begin to realize that jealousy was never trying to destroy you. It was trying to awaken you. It was shaking you from your comfort zone, breaking the illusions of comparison and showing you the direction of your desire. So when the feeling comes, welcome it. Let it point you forward. Let it strip away the lies of scarcity. Let it fuel your discipline. And remember, you are not defined by the envy you feel. You are defined by what you do with it. And when you choose to turn it into momentum, you rise above the shadows of comparison and step fully into the light of your own potential. The moment you begin to see jealousy as a signal instead of a sentence, your entire perspective changes. What once felt like proof that you were falling behind transforms into evidence that something inside you is awakening. That awakening is not meant to shame you. It is meant to guide you. It is a call to rise, a call to claim the parts of yourself you have ignored, a call to finally step into the life you know deep down you are capable of living. The sting you feel is not punishment. It is possibility pressing against the walls of your comfort zone, demanding to be released. But possibility without action fades. If you do not move, jealousy corrodes. It eats away at your joy, robs you of peace, and blinds you to your own growth. The only way to silence it is to honor it through movement. Action transforms emotion. Even the smallest step begins to shift the weight, because your mind no longer lingers in passivity. It shifts into progress. And progress has a way of healing the wounds comparison creates. The more you move, the less you envy. The more you build, the less you doubt. Because every small victory reminds you that you are capable of creating your own breakthroughs. The danger is that jealousy convinces you to keep your eyes fixed on others, and in doing so, it distracts you from your own path. But you cannot walk forward while staring sideways. You cannot discover your potential while obsessing over someone else's. Freedom begins when you turn your gaze inward. Ask yourself not what they have that you don't, but what you can build with what you already hold. That question shifts the balance of power. It takes you from scarcity into abundance, from self-pity into self-ownership. And the moment you take ownership, the grip of jealousy begins to dissolve. Every time jealousy knocks, you are given a choice: sink deeper into comparison or rise higher into creation. That choice defines everything. Most people choose comparison, and so they remain bitter, resentful, and stuck. But the few who choose creation step into a different reality. They turn envy into evidence, resentment into responsibility, comparison into clarity, and clarity is liberation. Because when you are focused on your own vision, the noise of others begins to fade. Their success no longer feels like a threat. It feels like proof that your path is real, your dream is possible, and your time is coming. This is where true transformation begins. When you stop measuring yourself against anyone else and start measuring yourself against the person you were yesterday. If you are further than you were, you are winning. If you are growing, you are succeeding. And that success, no matter how small, compounds. It builds day by day until one day you wake up and realize you no longer feel chained by jealousy, you feel fueled by it. You no longer see others as competition, you see them as mirrors reflecting back the greatness you are growing into. The emotion that once drained you now drives you. The feeling that once made you shrink now makes you stand tall, because you understand that jealousy was never the enemy. It was always the signal, the reminder, the push. And once you choose to use it, nothing can stop you from rising into the life you were meant to live. The shift becomes undeniable when you stop letting jealousy drain your energy and start letting it direct your energy. Instead of spiraling into thoughts of lack, you begin channeling every ounce of that feeling into growth. The same emotion that once made you feel powerless becomes the very spark that powers your momentum. And with each step forward, you discover that jealousy was never meant to crush you. It was meant to push you. It was designed to reveal the gap between who you are and who you are becoming, not to make you despair, but to make you move. Movement is everything. Jealousy without movement turns toxic, but jealousy with movement becomes transformation. When you move, you tell your mind a new story. You shift the narrative from I am behind to I am becoming. That subtle shift changes your energy entirely. Instead of sitting in stagnation, you begin to feel alive. Instead of resenting others for where they are, you begin respecting yourself for where you are going. That respect fuels confidence, and confidence builds courage. Soon, the emotion that once weakened you becomes the foundation for your strength. And here is the truth that so many overlook. Jealousy is not an emotion to eliminate, it is an emotion to elevate. When you elevate it, you reclaim the energy it carries and bend it toward your purpose. You use it as a mirror to see what you want most. You use it as a compass to guide your focus. You use it as fuel to ignite consistent action. The moment you stop fighting jealousy and start cooperating with it, your life changes. You are no longer resisting reality. You are working with it, and life always rewards those who work with what is, instead of hiding from it. But to cooperate with jealousy requires radical honesty. It demands that you face the parts of yourself you have ignored, the dreams you have buried, the potential you have denied. That honesty can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is a sign of growth. Growth never feels easy, but it always feels alive. And it is better to feel the discomfort of growth than the numbness of stagnation. Because when you choose growth, even through jealousy, you expand, you evolve, you rise. This rise is not about competing with others, it is about becoming more of yourself. The people you once envied are no longer your benchmarks. They are no longer the measure of your worth. They are reminders of possibility, yes, but your true competition is always your past self. If you are moving forward, you are winning. If you are rising, you are succeeding. That mindset frees you from the endless cycle of comparison and grounds you in your own progress. And progress, no matter how small, compounds into transformation. The energy that once kept you stuck now propels you forward. The voice that once told you not enough now whispers, keep going. And as you continue, something shifts at the deepest level. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe in your own path. You begin to see that jealousy was never a curse, it was always a call. And the more you answer that call with action, the more unstoppable you become. Because now, instead of shrinking when jealousy rises, you expand. You stand taller. You walk stronger. And you know without doubt that the life you crave is not just possible, it is waiting for you to claim it. The real freedom arrives when you no longer see jealousy as a threat, but as an invitation. Instead of letting it drain your joy, you let it sharpen your focus. Instead of feeling powerless, you recognize the signal pointing you toward your own untapped strength. This is the turning point where envy transforms into empowerment. It is the moment you stop wishing and start working, stop resenting and start creating, stop hiding and start rising. The shift is subtle but life-changing because it moves you from asking why to asking how. Not why do they have it, but how can I build it? That single change unlocks the path forward, and the path forward is always built in steps, not leaps. Jealousy tricks you into believing you must already be at the finish line, that anything less than perfection means failure. But growth doesn't demand perfection, it demands consistency. Every action you take, no matter how small, becomes a declaration that you refuse to remain stuck. Every step you take proves to yourself that you are capable of creating progress. And progress is more powerful than comparison. Progress builds momentum. Progress builds confidence. Progress silences the noise of envy, because your mind cannot stay focused on what others have when it is absorbed in building your own. This is the truth. Most forget, jealousy loses its grip the moment you honor your own path. When you are living in alignment with your values, when you are moving toward your vision, you don't have time to drown in comparison. Your energy is invested, your mind is engaged, your heart is focused. Suddenly, other people's victories don't sting. They inspire. They don't make you shrink. They remind you of what is possible. Their light no longer overshadows you. It sparks your own flame. And that flame is what changes everything, because the moment you commit to growth, your identity shifts. You no longer see yourself as someone who is behind. You see yourself as someone who is becoming. That identity fuels resilience. It keeps you steady when progress feels slow. It keeps you focused when distraction tempts you. It keeps you confident when fear whispers that you are not enough. The identity of a builder, a creator, a grower makes you unstoppable, because you are no longer measuring yourself by what others have. You are measuring yourself by how much stronger you are becoming. The more you embrace this mindset, the lighter you feel. The heaviness of comparison lifts, because you understand that no one else's success can ever take away from yours. You realize that life is not a zero-sum game. There is no shortage of love, success, freedom, or opportunity. The table is wide, and there is room for you too. That truth dissolves jealousy at its root. You don't need to tear someone else down to rise. You don't need to resent them to grow. You only need to honor your own vision and move toward it with courage. This is the essence of transformation, turning the very feeling that once drained you into the fuel that drives you. Each time jealousy appears, it becomes another chance to rise higher, to move faster, to focus deeper. And over time, you will look back and see clearly that jealousy was never your enemy. It was always your ally. It was always the reminder that you are alive, that you are capable, that you are ready. And when you embrace it fully, you step boldly into the life you were always meant to create. The real breakthrough comes when you stop trying to escape jealousy and instead learn how to rise above it. Escaping means running from yourself, but rising means stepping into your power. And the only way to rise is to shift where your attention goes. Because jealousy thrives in the shadows of attention fixed outward, but it dies the moment your focus turns inward. When you stop measuring your worth against another person and start asking what you can create today, you remove jealousy's oxygen. It cannot breathe in the presence of self-direction. It cannot survive when your energy is invested in your own becoming. That is why awareness matters so deeply. Most people let jealousy operate in silence, shaping their choices without ever confronting it. But when you bring awareness to it, you break its illusion. You remind yourself that jealousy does not mean you are unworthy. It means you care. It means you desire more. And desire, when used correctly, is not dangerous. It is the starting line of transformation. Every great achievement was once a desire. Every life change began as a restless feeling that things could be better. That restlessness you feel is not your weakness. It is your signal. It is life itself pushing you forward. The question then becomes, what will you do with that energy? Will you let it turn into bitterness, eating away at your confidence? Or will you harness it as proof that your soul is ready for more? The choice is always yours. And the moment you choose to channel it toward growth, something shifts within you. You no longer waste time wishing to trade places with someone else. You no longer waste energy replaying their success in your mind. Instead, you begin using every spark of jealousy to light your own fire. That fire drives you to learn, to grow, to act, to create. And once you feel it, you no longer envy the world. You engage with it. Engagement is the cure for envy. Because when your hands are building, your mind is no longer stuck in comparison. When your energy is moving forward, your heart is no longer heavy with resentment. You begin to taste progress, and progress is addictive. The first time you notice yourself improving, even slightly, you realize that your focus has shifted from others to yourself. And that shift is freedom. Freedom from the endless cycle of comparison. Freedom from the weight of insecurity. Freedom from the lie that someone else's path determines yours. With freedom comes clarity. You begin to see that everyone's journey is different, and no two stories are meant to be identical. You understand that comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 is not only unfair, it is destructive. But when you accept your own chapter, when you own your place in the journey, you empower yourself to keep writing it. That ownership transforms everything. Because once you take responsibility for your story, jealousy has no hold on you. It cannot distract you, it cannot chain you, it cannot define you. And in that moment of ownership, you rise. You rise above the old thought patterns that told you to shrink. You rise above the feelings that once kept you stuck. You rise into the person you were always meant to be, driven, focused, and free. This is what it means to overcome jealousy, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by proving that it no longer controls you. It is still there, but it has lost its power. And now, every time it appears, you know exactly what to do. You rise higher. You grow stronger. You step closer to the life you are building. Rising higher begins with a decision to stop giving away your power. Jealousy feeds on comparison, and comparison steals your focus. Every time you compare, you hand over pieces of your energy to someone else's life. You invest your attention in their story while neglecting your own. And the truth is simple. What you water grows. If you water envy, you will grow discontent. If you water resentment, you will grow bitterness. But if you water your own growth, your own potential, your own daily actions, you will grow strength. You will grow peace. You will grow into the person you know you are capable of becoming. It is not about pretending that comparison never happens. The mind will always look for reference points. It is part of being human. But you get to decide how long you stay there. Do you linger on someone else's highlight reel, or do you return to your own canvas and begin painting? Do you sit in the shadows of their light, or do you turn inward and ignite your own flame? The answer determines your future, because the more you linger in jealousy, the more you delay your own rise. But the moment you pull your energy back, the moment you reclaim it, you start living again. And here lies the beauty. Reclaiming your power is not complicated. It begins with one small step, repeated daily. Every time the thought of jealousy arises, ask yourself, what can I do right now that moves me forward? That question turns comparison into clarity. It reminds you that you have a choice. You cannot control what others achieve, but you can always control what you choose in this moment. And when you anchor yourself in action, jealousy dissolves. Action and envy cannot live in the same space because action turns longing into momentum, and momentum destroys stagnation. You may not feel strong at first. You may feel resistance, like a weight pulling you back. That is normal. Growth never feels comfortable in the beginning. But every act of discipline, every choice to focus on your own life, weakens the hold of jealousy a little more. Over time, those small victories add up. They build confidence. They create results. And results silence comparison more powerfully than words ever could. Because when you start to see your own progress, you no longer crave someone else's. You begin to feel pride in your own lane. And that pride becomes the fuel to keep going. This is how transformation happens, not in one dramatic moment, but in consistent, deliberate choices that shift your energy back to yourself. You grow stronger each time you resist the urge to compare. You grow freer each time you redirect your thoughts toward building instead of wishing. And eventually, you realize something extraordinary. Jealousy has become your teacher. What once felt like poison now serves as proof that you are alive, that you care, that you want more for yourself. Instead of resenting that desire, you honor it. You listen to it. You channel it into building something meaningful. And when you live this way, jealousy no longer feels like an enemy. It feels like a signal, a compass pointing you toward areas of your life that are ready for growth, a reminder that your story is still being written, a spark that tells you there is still more within you waiting to rise. This shift is everything. Because once you learn to use jealousy as a guide instead of a chain, you unlock a level of freedom most people never experience. You no longer fight yourself. You align with yourself. And in that alignment, you discover the power to create, to grow, and to live fully awake. The greatest freedom you will ever know comes when you stop measuring your worth against someone else's timeline. Jealousy whispers that you are behind, that others are ahead, that your chance is already past. But life does not operate on a single track. There is no universal calendar where everyone must reach milestones at the same time. Your journey is uniquely yours. Your timing is not late. It is perfect for the lessons you are meant to learn, for the growth you are meant to experience, and for the impact you are destined to create. The moment you release the false deadline, you free yourself to move at the pace that is right for you. Think about how much energy is lost in the chase of proving yourself to others. Every ounce of focus spent competing with their timeline robs you of the power to honor your own. And that is why jealousy feels so draining. It is not just the emotion itself, it is the weight of abandoning your path while trying to run someone else's. But the truth is, you are not behind, you are not late, you are not less. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, carrying exactly the strength you need to rise into what comes next. This shift is not only liberating, it is transformative. When you stop obsessing over where others are, you can finally see the ground under your own feet. You notice the opportunities within your reach. You recognize the lessons shaping you right now. And you begin to trust that your story is unfolding with precision, even when it feels slow, even when it feels invisible. That trust is the seed of inner peace. It is the quiet knowing that you do not need to rush, you do not need to compare, you only need to continue. And when peace enters, so does power. Because a calm mind is a focused mind is a strong mind, and a strong mind is unstoppable. You begin to act from vision instead of pressure. You stop chasing shadows and start building substance. Every step becomes intentional, every choice becomes aligned. And alignment creates results that last, results that no jealousy can shake, because they were born from truth, not from imitation. Remember this, someone else's progress is not your loss. Their success does not mean your failure. Life is not a competition for scarce rewards, it is an endless field of possibility. Their light does not dim yours. It proves that light is possible. Their breakthrough does not block your door. It shows that doors can be opened. If you allow yourself to see others as evidence instead of threats, jealousy transforms into fuel. Their story becomes inspiration. Their rise becomes a reminder of your own potential. This is the higher perspective that dissolves envy, realizing that life is abundant, realizing that there is enough space for every dream, every voice, every victory, realizing that the world is not waiting for you to catch up with someone else's path. It is waiting for you to walk boldly in your own. When you finally understand this, you stop running against others and start rising with yourself. And that rise feels lighter. It feels truer. It feels like freedom. Hold on to that truth. Every time jealousy returns, remember abundance. Remember your timing. Remember that your story is unfolding in a way no one else can replicate. And when you stay rooted in that truth, no comparison can shake you, because you know exactly who you are and exactly where you are going.